Hey everybody, Jim from HAPCO Inc. here with another video in our frequently asked questions series on the new BAK LiiOn battery-powered hand welder. With this tool, there's a lot of questions that come up, but this is probably the single most important one for someone who's looking to invest in the BAK LiiOn, and that is, how long does it run on a charge? And really, I wish there was a cut and dry way to answer that, but there isn't. And honestly, the answer is it depends. And what does it depend on? Well, there's a number of variables that play into it. So the first variable is the question, what are we welding? Okay, are we welding TPO or PVC? And then what thickness of material are we welding? Are we welding 45, 60, or 80 mil TPO? Are we welding 50, 60, or 80 mil PVC? You know, and that kind of is going to play into, okay, what are we going to get as far as life out of the tool? Because how hot do we have to run the tool? Next is we have to look at, are we welding supported field sheet or are we welding our unsupported details, our corners, our pipe boots, our T-patches, any type of flashing material. Those materials don't require as much heat as the field sheet does. So that's going to play into the life expectancy of our battery when we have it charged and we have it running on the roof. It also depends what we're welding and what thickness. It also depends what nozzle we're using. So are we using the standard 40 mil nozzle that we're all familiar with and that comes with most of the guns? Or are we welding a detail tip? You know, are we welding with a narrower detail tip? Are we welding with an angled detail tip? You know, those are types of things that we have to look at because those also affect how much heat and how concentrated the heat is coming out of the nozzle. So then the next thing we need to look at is when we use the tool, you know, what are we welding? Well, what we're welding is going to also drive what heat setting we have the tool on. What tip we're using is, all again, going to have an impact on what setting we have the gun on. So, you know, are we welding 60 mil field sheet with a 40 mil tip, or are we welding an inside corner with a 20 mil detail tip? Okay, so all that's going to play into the life expectancy on the tool when we have it out on the job site. Again, heat settings have an effect on it. Probably the last thing that has an effect on it that we need to talk about is that inside of this tool, unlike your typical battery, or unlike your typical hand welder, you have a thermocouple that actually runs through here and communicates with the battery pack. So when this tool is running, it's going to be constantly updating the heat and constantly regulating the temperature. So with using that thermocouple that knows what the temperature is at the end of the tip, that way it's going to be more accurate as far as the temperature, but it's also going to use more battery life, constantly regulating and maintaining that temperature, especially at colder temps outside. More power is going to be consumed. So, you know, there's a lot of variables that play into that, but really the best real world example I can give you is if you're trying to make a buying decision, this is a typical situation for us on the roof, is it's a 70-degree day. We're using 60 mil TPO. We're welding field sheet. We've got a 40 millimeter tip when we're running the gun on a 7 as far as our heat setting. In that exact scenario, you may get 45 to 50 minutes of runtime. And I know that's going to be a common scenario that we're going to face, so that's what we're using as our example. Okay, now if the temperature is cooler, we may need to run the gun hotter, we may need to make some adjustments. So again, we come back to the main question, how long does it run on a charge? The answer is, it depends on the variables. So hopefully this has been helpful in answering that question. Hopefully you can kind of figure out what your expected runtime would be based on the variables and based on some of the things you've heard here. Obviously, you know, there's no secret formula to figure that out other than, you know, hey, here's what the settings are and here's, you know, what we're going to be welding and expecting as far as results. So again, hope this has been informative. Hope this helps you make the decision whether or not the BAK LiiOn is right for you and your service and repair crews. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out to HAPCO Inc. We'd be more than happy to answer any questions regarding the new BAK LiiOn battery powered tool. Have a great day.